Hey everyone, welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating and honestly pretty emotionally charged homily by Fr. Jal Jamarsiskatus. We're going to be looking at a profound paradox that touches, well, pretty much every single human life, the mystery of suffering. The whole thing opens with the incredibly stark story of Santa Maria Goretti. She was a young, completely innocent martyr who suffered unspeakable abuse and was ultimately murdered. It's a super heavy, startling way to start, but it immediately grounds us in a reality we all kind of recognize, right? That sometimes the absolute most innocent people endure the deepest pain. Why? And more importantly, how are we supposed to respond when life deals us a devastating hand? Well, that is exactly what we're going to break down today.
Section 1. Never give up. Okay, let's dive into this. It's the ultimate question, isn't it? Why is it that the good people are the ones who always seem to suffer? It taps directly into this universal human frustration. We've all felt that sting of unfairness, wondering why bad people seem to just prosper and get ahead, while good people are constantly struggling, constantly getting hurt. I mean, it literally makes a lot of people want to walk away from their faith entirely. But what if that perspective is incomplete? We aren't seeing the full picture here. And yielding to that bitterness, that's really just the very first step toward defeat. To counter that feeling of total despair, Father Gatus gives us this incredibly powerful takeaway. Never give up a fight unless you have fought properly. I absolutely love this phrasing. It brilliantly illustrates that you have to fight with your full effort. Seriously, there is zero room here for half prayers, no room for half trust, no room for half hope. You have to go all in. Before you throw your hands up in the air and say, okay, it's over, you actually have to ask yourself if you fought the battle properly. Which brings us to Section 2, Stories of Faith, where we'll look at some epic biblical battles.
Picture this first example. It's about a Jewish official named Jairus, and his daughter has just died. Try to imagine that ultimate level of despair. Your child is gone, and the crowd of people around you, they are actually laughing and mocking the situation, telling you it's way too late to do anything. But what does he do? He actively seeks out Jesus, falls completely to his knees, and begs for a miracle. He didn't let the harsh reality of death or the ridicule of the crowd stop him. He proved he hadn't given up, and because he fought for her, his daughter was actually brought back to life.
12. That's a full dozen years. That is exactly how long a sick woman in our next story bled. Think about that. For over a decade, she was in constant pain, completely isolated, and utterly desperate. She spent absolutely every last cent she had on doctors, trying every possible earthly solution she could find, to absolutely no avail. By every single metric we have, she had every reason to just surrender and accept a pretty grim fate.
But she flat out refused to quit. She truly believed that if she could just push her way through this massive, crushing crowd and touch the mere edge of Jesus' clothes, she would be healed. And that refusal to give up, it resulted in a miracle. There's a really profound truth here. God doesn't just heal us physically, he makes us entirely whole. But, and this is the key, only when we actively fight for our faith and actually take that physical step toward him.
Now, these aren't just ancient stories from thousands of years ago. Let's look at Section 3, the fighters of today.
7 months. That's how early a true miracle baby was born in Friar Gatus's own parish. Born at just 7 months, the infant was completely blue and not breathing at all. The medical professionals in the delivery room had to deliver literally the most crushing news any parent can ever hear. They gave the child up for dead. They actually apologized to the mother because, medically speaking, there was just nothing more they could do.
But the mother, she completely rejected that fatal diagnosis. In this sheer, raw display of a true fighter's spirit, she took matters entirely into her own hands. For a full, agonizing hour, she slapped the baby's feet, she shook him, she administered mouth-to-mouth resuscitation herself, repeatedly yelling at her child, "Fight, you can do this, fight." And guys, after an entire hour of this desperate, unrelenting battle, the breathless baby finally cried. That unbelievable story reinforces a harsh, but honestly deeply empowering truth. Nobody is coming to save you. You should help yourself first. Think of it like a drowning person. If someone is drowning and they panic, resisting the rescue and pulling the lifeguard down, well, they're both going to sink. God is constantly throwing us a lifeline, right? But he can only save us if we take that very first step to reach out and fight for ourselves. We have to actually want to be saved.
Consider this stark emotional contrast to see who is really doing the fighting today. On one hand, you have destitute scavengers living behind a flooded market. They have zero electricity, they literally wade through floodwaters on these makeshift rafts, and yet they still fiercely and tirelessly grind every day just to provide for their kids' education. Not contrast that with financially comfortable individuals, people who have plenty of food, nice cars, a roof over their heads, who succumb to deep depression simply because they don't get exactly what they want out of life. And that brings us to another genuinely heartbreaking juxtaposition from the homily. Imagine the tragic discovery of a discarded fetus left in an eco bag, abandoned by a terrified high school senior purely out of shame. Now place that in direct, agonizing contrast with the countless childless couples out there. Couples who literally spend years going on pilgrimages to a bando, consulting endless doctors, and praying relentlessly just to be blessed with a single child. It really highlights how some people will throw away the very blessings that others are desperately, fiercely fighting for. Connecting all these everyday modern struggles right back to Scripture, St. Timothy reminds us to fight the good fight for the faith. This basically means that believers belong to what is called a militant church. Now, don't get it twisted, this isn't about physical warfare. It means we must actively, constantly do battle against the spiritual attacks of despair, of hopelessness, and of the urge to just give up. We are meant to be spiritual soldiers. So, why do we do it? Section 4. 3 reasons to fight. Let's walk through these 3 reasons together. First off, we fight because victory is never an accident. People who reach the top of the mountain didn't just fall there, right? They climbed. Second, we fight out of pure gratitude. Think of the agonizing sacrifices your parents made for you, even just the literal pain of childbirth, just to give you life. Giving up basically wastes their sacrifice. And third, we fight because God is watching. He actually sees your tireless effort when you're in the dark, and he specifically blesses the perseverance that he witnesses. So here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. Fighting out of mere stubbornness or anger or resentment, that is entirely exhausting. Actually, scratch that. It's worse than exhausting. It's like going to war without any bullets in your gun. You are eventually going to burn out. But if you fight with Jesus by your side, if you actually bring him into your daily struggles, you guarantee that your efforts won't end in ultimate failure. You are literally never fighting alone. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly direct challenge for you to reflect on today. Before you throw in the towel on your marriage, or your health, your dreams, or even your faith, did you actually fight properly? And more importantly, did you invite God into that specific battle, or were you just trying to muscle through it all by yourself? Take a moment today to really think about what battle you're fighting right now and how you might need to change your strategy. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and